Hey, what's up, everybody? Let me introduce myself. My name is Christian Alva, and what I do is I help businesses integrate social media and internet marketing into their business plan so that they can increase revenue and extend their brand by being strategically placed all over the internet. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Have you heard the radio lately, or have you been listening to the radio lately? But more specific, have you heard the commercials on the radio lately? The reason why I ask is because a lot of these commercials from the big brand XYZ brand, at the end of the commercials they say something like, "Follow us on Twitter," or "Look us up on Facebook," or "Check out our videos on YouTube." And I'm pretty sure that at some point you said to yourself, "Why are they spending all this money to talk about Twitter and Facebook and the commercials and whatnot?" And then I'm pretty sure you figured out, well, it's because they're marketing, right? They're marketing their businesses on all these social communities, which at probably some point in time, then you said, well, I should probably be doing this too, but how do I do it? Now, let me explain something. I was exactly at the same position you were about 3 years ago when the economy started going down, right? I heard one of these commercials and I thought the exact same thing. And I was like, let's go online, let's go on Facebook, because I had a Facebook account, right? And I was on there for my friends and family. I wasn't doing any business. I just went on there. I started checking out all these big brands, and lo and behold, I found my competitors, right? I found my competitors, and I was not happy. And the reason I was not happy is because I realized that I was behind. I was basically behind the times. And at the time, we were only doing offline marketing for our businesses that we had, and it was slowing down. It was considerably slowing down. And I realized right then and there that I had to do something, and I had to do something fast, right? So right away, what I did, I just jumped in. I just dove in and started researching. I went to the bookstore and I started buying like books, and started doing more online training, and eventually I actually hired somebody for some one-on-one coaching. And the reason I did that was so that I could actually get the right way to do things, and more quickly. And the reason is because is that I knew that if I did something wrong, that it really doesn't erase like quite well or easily or ever online, and that it could potentially hurt my brand further on down the road. So I wanted to do something. I wanted to do it right, basically, from the get go. So as I started learning and training and getting advice from my coaching, I started like having this positive energy just about what I was doing. I didn't have any results yet. To be honest, I didn't have any results. But I did know that I had like this gut feeling. And when you have this feeling and it's in your gut, you're just like, okay, I'm going to go with it just because it feels really good. That's what I had. And I kept going. And eventually what happened was that I started getting a lot of exposure for both of my businesses. And one in particular, I actually got contacted by a magazine. And the magazine said, "We want to do an article on your business." And I was like, wow, that's cool. Like I was like startled. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then from there on, basically, I just kept doing what I was doing online. And the next thing you know, I get contacted by a company that wants to sponsor my business. And I was like, wow, holy crap. I was like, this is crazy. I mean, because I never even expected or thought of any of this kind of stuff, right? And so what happened was I was at one point, I was in the dark. I was totally in the dark. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was struggling. I was struggling to keep my businesses alive. And then I made the decision to come basically online and start using all the social communities, right? And then I started seeing like light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And then bam, like all these, opportunities just started coming in out of nowhere. And it was like a firework. It was like bam, psh, and it totally just ignited and lit my whole, business, my whole success of like doing online business, right? And it was at that point that I kind of like looked at what was going on, what I was doing online, and really discovered that there was a couple. Well, there were some things that I was doing, but one in particular that stuck out, and it was actually that I was on the social communities and I was giving a lot of value and helping a lot of people, which in turn basically gave me all these opportunities. Right now, I want you to hold that thought, because I want to take a look at the old world thinking versus the new world thinking. In the old world thinking, I was basically just doing ads, like in the newspaper, or I was listening to the Yellow Pages and all that. I was doing all that kind of stuff, and I would get calls and make a sale and deliver the service, and that was it, right? I was basically just taking. I was just taking. I was never really giving, right? Now, in the new world thinking, the new way of marketing, now we venture online and find ourselves in all these communities where, a lot of people, they don't have any idea what's going on. They don't really know how to act. And I mean, most people act the wrong way, right, when they come online. But I found out that the real secret is in helping and giving. And then that's when you start seeing a lot of success, right? Now, there's actually this giving and helping part is actually one of the 5 pieces of framework that I use to help other businesses grow online. Okay, now the first piece of the framework is actually devising a plan and doing some research and creating some goals. For example, you're not going to go run a marathon, right? You're not going to go sprint the first mile and waste all your energy when you have 3 crazy hills at the end of it. You might not even make it to the finish line, and what kind of, how's that going to look, to you, or how's it going to look for you? You're probably not going to think too highly of yourself, and then you should probably strategize, right? So the first part is strategizing, right? And then doing some research, which is, of course, a part of the strategizing, and then setting some goals. So you know that in each part along the way, this is what you need to achieve, right? If you don't do it this way and you just kind of like sprint all the way, you're not going to have, the success is going to come either not at all, or it's going to come slower, all right? Now, the second part of this framework is actually getting onto these communities, right? Getting onto these communities and being a part, see how they work, because each one works differently than the other, and not only that, but they'll also work differently for your particular business. Now, the third part is to actually create some content, some value that you're going to deliver to these communities, okay? Now, this content is going to do a whole bunch of things, but most importantly, it's going to do 2 things. And the 2 things is that it's going to create visibility. Visibility is what's going to basically get your brand out there, right? Now, more importantly than that, the visibility is also going to create transparency, right? So let's say that you do a video online and you put it on Facebook, right? Well, now people get to see who you are. They get to see like what your shop looks like, what you have to give, basically, right? So that is really key. And for example, I have a client that told me, Christian, you know what? I never believed in this whole video stuff. I really, truly never did. But there came a point where a customer came into my store and said, I saw you online. I saw one of your videos, and it totally just, convinced me that I want to do business with you. It's really, really unique because it, pretty much it pre-qualifies, both parties. In some cases it pre-qualifies the customer, and in other cases it pre-qualifies, the business owner. And that is cool, because how is How would it feel to you when someone comes into your store and says, I never met you before, but I saw a video of you and I really like your personality. Let's talk some business, let's work out some deals. That in itself is just really cool. So transparency is key to all this stuff. Okay. Now the fourth piece of the framework is actually engaging in the communities, right? So when you put out a piece of content, right, you want to engage with the people that are talking about your content, that are commenting on your content, you don't want to just put out like some piece of content and put it out there and people be talking, you never say anything, because that basically looks bad. That looks like you don't really care about what's going on, right? And for example, let's say you had a retail store, right? And you walk outside your retail store and you go next door to ABC, food restaurant, whatever it is, and you're saying, hey, I'm at the store next door, we sell pet supplies, whatever it is, like just going around and making sure that everybody's cool over here, introducing myself, this and that, that is gonna actually put you above the rest of everybody else. And so these type of rules apply online as well. If you go out into the community online and you start talking to people and they're going to become more familiar with you. You know what I mean? It's really there's a lot of rules offline that apply to online. Sometimes they're just kind of played a little differently. Okay. Now the fifth part of the framework is giving and helping. Giving and helping. And remember when I said before that when I started using this giving and helping thing, I just saw a tremendous boost in my business and in my success, and all these opportunities came out of nowhere. And I never, like I said before, I never expected them for these things to happen. It was actually kind of crazy. Now there's common mistakes that happen when people come online, and there's pretty much three main ones off the top of my head. Okay. Now the first one is when people come online and they do things differently than they do offline. For example, people come online and they go on Facebook and they start throwing out their website or their business or their product, right? And they've never come online before or on Facebook. They've never, talked to anybody. They're just coming online and throwing out their stuff, right? People don't like that. It's like going to the store, the supermarket, right? And you're in line with somebody and you don't even know them, as a stranger, and this person is just standing there, and all of a sudden you say, hey, you know what? I had this great product. I see you're balding. You definitely need some hair. That person's going to think you're weird, or that you're not for real, that you're not cool, right? And it's not going to go well, right? You know what I mean? That's you definitely do not want to do that, right? Then the next thing, which is kind of related to this one, is that when people come online and they're posting, these things on Facebook or Twitter, and they're not really getting any response, they think that the frequency is the problem, right? The frequency is not the problem. So what they start doing is that they start posting it over and over and over and over, and then what happens is people get pissed, right? And they're like, man, this person is basically a spammer. I don't want to, they're going to block you. They don't want to be friends with you and all that kind of stuff. And then you basically, you burn your brand, and that's basically it. And you definitely do not want that happening. Okay. And basically the third thing, and this all relates to like the common theme about giving and helping. The third common mistake is people just wanting to take, right? Remember, we want to be helping and giving. That is the key to the success online. Now, for example, if you move into a new neighborhood, right? And you need the you don't have a lawnmower, you need one. So you go over to your neighbor. His name is Joe, right? So, hey Joe, I'm John. Can I borrow your lawnmower? That probably is not going to go over very well. He's probably going to think you're a moocher for life, and that he don't ever really want to answer the door whenever you knock, right? So how about instead you say, you know what? Wifey over here, can you bake me a cherry pie? I'm gonna go over to Joe's house and give Joe a welcoming cherry pie from us. And so you go over and you say, "Hey Joe, nice to meet you. I'm John. Here's a cherry pie. Just want to let you know we just moved to the neighborhood, and I hope that you can come over to our family barbecue someday. And we're really cool people, and you look like really nice people. Blah blah blah. Shoot the breeze, right?" Then then the next day you go over and say, "By the way, Joe, can I borrow your lawnmower?" That will go over more well because you're actually giving before you're taking. You understand? That is pretty much the key. Okay. Now, I know I've talked about a lot of stuff in this video, but the one thing, if you are at all interested in growing your business online, the first thing you need to do is say, "I do." Now, I'm not saying you need to get married and put a ring on your finger and say "I do," but more of the "I do" or "I will." A dedication to actually building your business online. Okay, that is the first step, is being dedicated. Because once you are dedicated, you are already way up here compared to your competitors. You're already over them. Okay, take the dedication seriously, and then you will find that you're gonna go into it and do some research, and get on all these communities and start doing things correctly. Okay. Well, thank you for watching this video. My name is Christian Alva. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment box below this video. You can also reach out to me on the social profiles such as Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. And those links will be underneath this video too. Alright guys, thank you for watching again, and hope to reach out to you soon. Ciao.